Today we have two Titan 85-inch mini LEDs facing off. The Samsung 85-inch 8K QN990F NEO QLED Mini LED goes against the TCL QM8K Mini LED, also quantum dot. Up next.
I've seen things people wouldn't believe.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm Brian. This is Tech Therapy. Thank you so much for watching. And this is a face-off and a battle that no one has asked for, but I have the TVs here and I felt like I needed to do it. The Samsung 8K QN990F NEO QLED Mini LED is an ultra premium high-end TV from Samsung. It is their true flagship, not counting the micro RGB display that they just released. It is ultra premium. It is a lifestyle TV. It's also 8K, gorgeous in both image quality and design. And the TCL QM8K, also at 85 inches, is an ultra premium model from TCL. This is a gorgeous 4K quantum dot mini LED with an equally beautiful design. If the QM8K is a premium display, the 8K QN990F is a luxury display. But how do they compare in terms of their image quality? Is there a big difference between 8K and 4K with upscaling, overall picture, color, brightness, gaming? You'll see today when the QN990F goes against the QM8K. Samsung versus TCL. Thank you so much for watching. All right, guys, let's do it. Build quality and design is up first. These are the two best looking mini LEDs in the world right now. They both have center metal stands. The Samsung QN990F basically hovers there. You also have a bezel-less design, not borderless, but bezel-less on the QN990F. There is a difference which we will see within this video. You also have the anti-glare treatment on the Samsung. Quick look at the back. We're going to come back to that in a moment. You do have a wireless one connect box on the QN990F. Again, anti-glare treatment compared to the glossy QM8K, also with a metal center stand. Very small TCL badging and a tiny Samsung badging as well. Now here you will see not only my reflections, but you'll see the difference between a borderless design for the QM8 versus a bezel-less design. The borderless design means that you see the matrix border on the QN990F, but basically no bezel. And on the QM8, what you see is a bezel, but there isn't a matrix border. You can see it better here. There's literally no matrix border at all, but you do have a more prominent bezel. Looking over at my LG G5, you can actually see how thick the matrix border is. This is the 83-inch G5 with a very small bezel, but that matrix border really stands out. And once you see the elegance of the QM8K without the matrix border, it's really hard to go back. And the beautiful QN990F, again, has a small matrix border, but no bezel at all. Or I should say, some bezel. You can't have no bezel at all, basically fall apart. But these are the best looking TVs out there design wise. Again, you have a matrix border at the bottom of the QN990F and nothing on the QM8K. On the back of the QM8K, we have the Bang & Olufsen sound system hard plastic. We have 4 HDMI 2 or HDMI 2.1 capable of 4K 144. On the back of the QN990F, you have this textured, almost flaky design on their higher end mini LEDs. You also have a mini HDMI 2.1 connection on the body of the QN990F, as well as 4 HDMI 2.1 on the wireless One Connect. They are capable of 4K 265 Hz, as well as 8K 60 Hz and 8K 120. Now, the real difference other than the borderless versus bezel-less is anti-glare coating on the QN990F and the glossy screen on the QM8K. Now, we talk a lot about these anti-glare treatments on QD OLEDs, but they are very different on their mini LED lineup. They do behave differently and they do have different advantages and drawbacks. With a full screen colorful image here, you can see a drop in the contrast ratio of the QN990F, but there is no glare at all. Where you can see it there, the window is hitting both and you have a very textured feel to the QN990F versus the QM8K. Moving into a very dark scene, you can see it does lift the blacks slightly, but unlike QD OLEDs, you don't end up with that brown out tone that you get from the QD OLEDs. You don't have to worry about that. So basically what you will have is a hit to contrast ratio. Let's take a look at a little bit of footage in a bright room with lights above me and a window hitting both TVs. Now, the anti-glare treatment on the QN990F, unlike the QD OLED, can withstand direct sunlight. QD OLEDs lack a polarizer, which is why they brown out, not an issue with quantum dot mini LEDs. That said, the glare on the QM8K, or the anti-glare treatment on their TVs, though glossy, is still very good. But why I want to spend more time on this is you are seeing more anti-glare, almost matte treatments on ultra-large mini LEDs, which is where everyone is going, including TCL, who's helped streamline and pioneer that movement. But for you guys to know that this is the future, now you can see direct sunlight, what it does to the image. Still very visible. And looking over at the QM8K, you can see me in the image, but you don't see a drop in contrast ratio. But if you look over at the QN990F, no glare at all, but you do lose a bit of that contrast ratio, meaning the image can look very flat. I actually don't hate the image, but there is a distinct difference between the two. The question is, which do you prefer? So for me, what makes this comparison fascinating is it's not only just the price difference between the 8K QN990F or the fact that it's 8K going against a 4K. Well, that's part of it, is what is compelling. It's also the fact that Samsung, again, has really pushed the limits on their design. And TCL was always very far away in that regard. And in just a few years, they have caught up. Not only copying parts of the design, but going further. Instead of doing a bezel-less, they're doing a borderless, meaning taking the idea that was made famous with Samsung and going in another direction with it. Also, not copying the anti-glare and keeping the panel glossy. Though TCL does have its own anti-glare matte treatment on certain TVs. Let's go into our picture preset overview. You'll see dynamic versus vivid, and you'll also see that the standard preset on the Samsung is similar to 3 different presets on the TCL, being intelligent, sports, and standard. Perceptually matching these presets throughout the video is what we will do. We will stay in Filmmaker for this part of the video, but we'll be in Filmmaker, movie standard here and there, as the standard on the QN990F tends to blow out the image. So you'll see us in vivid and dynamic in one portion. You'll see us here in filmmaker, and you'll also see here we'll move into sports on the QM8K and then standard on the QN990F, just testing the motion with our good friend here, Jennifer Gala. The point is jumping through the presets and perceptually matching them. Each preset is matched by its color tone. Even out of the box, both the Samsung QN990F and TCL QM8K have the same color temperatures in each of their preset. That is the only way I will match them in this video. I'm not going to tinker and make them look the same. I want to show you exactly what each manufacturer wants you to see. To me, the presets are the signature of that manufacturer. So they are matched preset for preset. And again, the color tone in each preset is the same, though they look very different from one another. Here you'll see the movie presets on both. Now, unlike filming QD OLEDs against, say, a WOLED, both these TVs are quantum dot mini LEDs. Those colors you see are exactly what I see in person. They look that different from one another. Even if the QN990F and the QM8K, say, have a dynamic color or a color booster enabled, those are enabled within the preset. This is exactly how they look in person, or as close as you're gonna see. Let's move into local dimming, which is the most important aspect of any mini LED. The local dimming and transitions on both the QN990F and the QM8K are excellent, especially dead center. Looking at our local dimming drip from good friend Jennifer Gala, both look great, though I would easily give the edge to the QM8K's WHVA panel. It just is better in controlling blooming. I do feel part of the anti-glare treatment from the QN990F not only affects some of the contrast ratio, but does even enhance the blooming just a little bit. Feeling like that extra blooming that you see isn't really from the TV itself, but from the treatment. You see off angle, there's a bit more blooming on the QN990F than there is on the QM8K. QM8K, you have to get way off angle. Both are very good in this regard. However, I would give the edge here to the QM8K. I just feel at times the anti-glare treatment does emphasize the blooming a bit. And I only say that because if you look at a star field on even a QD OLED, you can see some haloing, which is virtually impossible. But I do feel that's a little bit of the drawback of the anti-glare treatment. Again, very fast transitions here. Both TVs do keep up beautifully. A very special thanks to the one and only Jennifer Gala and her second channel, HDR Super Channel. A majority of content seen within this video and intro is from those two channels. Please check the description below for links to both channels and consider becoming a Patreon member to Jen's main channel and enjoy almost all of this amazing content on your new TV. Thank you, Jen. Now, being in vivid and dynamic here, we just want to push the TVs and see how bright they go. And you can see the difference with this content from Jen that is over 3,000 nits. The QM8K is brighter the majority of the time, though at times you'll see brighter specular highlights on the QN990F depending on the content. As you see here, both are way bright enough for whatever you need. Moving on to actual 8K content from an absolute legend. Special thanks to Phil Holland, who is a movie legend, cinematography legend. Thank you, Phil. This is his content. We do have 8K on the left, 4K on the right. We're using the YouTube app on the QN990F to reach 8K. His content is absolutely stunning. Please check out Phil Holland. You'll see his channel on YouTube, and I'll put it in the description. Now, we'd be better off using the 8K content from a USB stick directly on the QN990F, but we are here in 8K versus 4K. Now, the color differences and the vibrancy differences are how they look in each preset as far as how they match, not the way Phil shot it. What we're looking for here is more detail on one or the other. Now, I'm filming at 4K 60, but perceptually and what you'll see in person, you will see a slightly cleaner image on the QN990F. It is not night and day, even though this is 8K footage shot in 8K by Phil Holland. Now, I've seen Phil's amazing content many times in person using a USB, and where I saw it really stand out was in 8K OLEDs like the Z series. I do feel that a mini LED is going to be limited as far as the depth that you will get, especially with the anti-glare treatment that is now on the Samsung. Now again, you would never know unless the TVs were side by side, but taking the camera off the tripod and getting up close, there is a difference that you may not be able to see here on camera, but it is visible in the very, very fine details, especially up close. Now keep in mind, both of these gorgeous TVs are 85 inches. These are the appropriate sizes for sitting up close and to see where you would see the differences. The faces on those on the roller coaster are definitely clearer than they are on the QM8K. But is that enough to chase 8K? I would say absolutely not, but it is an amazing feature to have, and we are seeing it here again, courtesy of Phil Holland. Thank you so much, Phil. Going from one legend to another, we have our Colombo upscaling test. The QN990F has the edge in terms of its image processing. That includes upscaling. It does have the top of the line processor from Samsung that is only available on their 8K sets. However, the QM8K is not far behind. Moving into HDR10 Plus on Return of the King, both TVs look absolutely amazing regardless of HDR format. Samsung has HDR10 Plus and HDR10, while TCL has HDR10 Plus, HDR10, and Dolby Vision. Both look amazing regardless of whatever movie you want to see, whatever genre. They both have excellent image quality and amazing HDR impact. Let's move on to gaming on the PS5 Pro. Now we'll stay with console and 4K for this comparison, though the QN990F has many more capabilities such as 4K 265Hz, 8K 60Hz, and 8K 120Hz, which you will see in an upcoming QN990F video. Both look excellent. There's more flexibility of image on the QN990F as it has more picture presets. They both have various game bars that have a ton of features that some are similar, some are not. They both are fully equipped to do a great deal. You'll see me bring them both up here, but the real key here is image quality. Now, where I perceptually matched them is I went with the original preset on the QN990F versus the original preset on the QM8K. However, I did go into active tone mapping on the QN990F to match the brightness. Now, the brightness on the QN990F's presets does vary per preset, but as you get into the standard preset and some of the other sports presets, they do get very cartoony. This is where they looked the most the same. However, they also look very different color-wise, though they're still matching the color temperature the same as well. Meaning they're both set to their warmest presets and they do look this different from one another. Let's get the camera off of the tripod and see if we have more detail on the QN990F versus the QM8K. Now, putting the camera right against the screen and filming at 4K 60, an image which is 4K 120, for my eyes, and being right up against the screen, there's more detail on the Samsung QN990F. But you have to be this close to see it. It virtually disappears when you step back. Now, even on console, especially the PS5, there are certain games like F1 that do have 8K resolution and 8K 60, which I will show in my QN990F video, and it does look very good. But I wouldn't chase the QN990F because it's 8K. You'd buy it because it is an ultra premium luxury lifestyle TV from Samsung, and that includes gaming. Even having a PC with a 4090, I was able to run a lot of the games at 8K with DLSS, And while it is cool, there's something about 8K resolution, even on a large TV, which doesn't really clean up the image as much as you would think. And it's definitely not worth the trade-off in terms of the frames per second, meaning running a game at 8K 30 fully max is not a great experience. You'd buy the QN990F because of its upscaling, which it does well in gaming. As I mentioned, up close, there is a bit of a cleaner image on the QN990F versus the QM8K, but you have to be very close to the screen to actually be able to see it. But the Samsung takes the win in terms of flexibility of image with many more picture presets, and all options within those presets are something you can toggle both on and off, including its dynamic contrast and local dimming. QM8K also has 4K 144, 1080p, 288 Hz, and also has a lot of flexibility of image, just not as much as the Samsung. Both excellent gaming TVs for various reasons. Now in closing, both of these 85-inch quantum dot mini LEDs are absolutely stunning, not just in terms of their image quality, but also their design. They are both top of the line, though the QM8K is not the flagship. The QM9K, which actually arrives today, is the flagship, but the design is virtually the same. But expect better image quality on the QM9K. Both TVs also are excellent lifestyle TVs, having a ton of AI features built in that are changing and being updated all the time. The QN990F also has a wireless One Connect box, which is very cool, but it's very important to know you will have added input lag in terms of gaming on that wireless One Connect box. For gaming, especially in this video, I used the mini HDMI 2.1 cable and it worked amazingly well. But if you want that higher end One Connect box feature, you have to go with Samsung and their highest end 8K TV. 8K, also a feature you're gonna pay for. The QN990F is literally almost quadruple the price of the QM8K. And the QM8K does have larger sizes as well as larger sizes QN990F, but the prices of those are even farther apart. Now, in terms of a direct comparison and feature set, you have Tizen on the QN990F and Google on the QM8K. And the Samsung QN990F is the much more fully equipped TV in terms of its offerings and features. However, the difference in image quality is not going to justify the price difference. The QM8K actually beats the QN990F in a lot of these shots and a lot of these images. So you're really paying more for the features on the QN990F than you are for its image quality as far as the differences in price. The QM8K gets you there and beyond at a fraction of the price. You'll be able to buy a 98-inch QM8K for the price of an 85-inch QN990F. I'm not sure about the prices on that, but those differences in price are very far apart for what you get. The QM8K's image quality is excellent. They both look absolutely stunning. Going on image quality alone, they go back and forth, but they are not the same price. That's not the reality. But if you do want those luxury items that are going to be on the QN990F, like the wireless One Connect box, all the extra AI features, gaming at 4K 265 Hz, as well as 8K gaming, the price typically on 8K TVs, since Samsung announced them back years ago with the 900A, is in the second half of the year. Closer to CES, they will drop down in price quite a bit. So you can actually wait and see how that shakes out. But again, in comparison, in terms of which one is better, they are very close image quality wise, giving a lot of the shots to the QM8K, but also the picture processing has the edge in some cases with the Samsung, especially in upscaling. None of it being night and day, they're both very close. Please let me know what you think in the comments about these two Titan quantum dot mini LEDs. I'm Brian. This is Tech Therapy. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing. Love you guys. Take care.
There can be only one.